Celebrating his new fame, Jimmy decides to have a sculpture of himself done by artist Kenneth Kendall.
I knew who he was. I hadn't seen him perform. He needed a shave, looked a little kind of grubby. He had come to look at the sculpture of Marlon Brando, which he had already seen in New York, and he had decided that he was going to contact me. He asked me, he said, in his very best little boy manner, very hesitant, would you be interested in sculpting me? Which came as a great surprise to me, and I honestly was thinking I had just finished one of Marlon Brando. I had one going of Steve Reeves, who had been a spectacular Mr. America, and I was thinking to myself, honestly, I thought, do you really think you're in this world class of people that I've been doing? But I was flattered by the request, and I answered that I would. 2 weeks after his visit, I went over to Hollywood to a matinee to see East of Eden, and I practically fell out of the seat. I thought, good Lord, I know this guy. He knows me. He wants something from me. I just couldn't get over it.
He's not watching us.
I feel as if he can still see us.
While many critics are calling Jimmy a great new star, others accuse him of imitating Marlon Brando.
James Dean was said to be another Marlon Brando, which isn't true at all. Marlon is heavy as lead compared to Jimmy. Jimmy's mercurial and light and dancing all over the place. That's not Marlon Brando at all. But it was just that we had two good actors. We lost two actors in the crash at Cholame, James Dean and Marlon Brando. Because if James Dean had been alive, Marlon couldn't have let Jimmy walk the town away from him. We would have seen a lot more out of Brando than we have, but I think he sort of relaxed in his position.
On the night James Dean died, artist Kenneth Kendall began working on the statue that Jimmy had wanted. 6 months later in Fairmont, Indiana, the finished bronze bust was mounted on a pedestal in the cemetery where Jimmy was buried. As James Dean was being honored in death, he was also being slurred. Shortly after its dedication, the sculpture was sawed off its foundation and has never been recovered.
He lives on because today's youth have felt so fervently about his spirit and his essential energy. The legacy that he gave all young aspiring actors was to grant you like an instant cool.
The first time I saw James Dean, a girl who worked in the neighborhood came to the front door once and said she wanted to bring over a young actor to see the Marlon Brando sculpture, which I had done. So they came over probably about 20 minutes later. He, for some reason, turned me into a nervous wreck. I couldn't tell you why. To me, he wasn't an important actor. I didn't know what he could do. But it was just, the air was just absolutely electric. And then he turned on a smile, and suddenly he was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Everyone was just looking at him and saying, hey, wow, you know, this guy's something, and then poof, he's gone. And I actually started the sculpture the night he died. I thought there wasn't any fan club, there wasn't anything, and I thought, if I've got anything to do with it, this kid isn't going to be forgotten.
Okay, James Dean. Each Dean song.